Hello everyone, Raven of TheRetroDev here, and welcome to my HaikuOS tutorial, specifically installing it inside of VirtualBox. And what we're going to do is, first, you're going to want to grab VirtualBox and install it for whatever platform you're on. Step 2, you're going to want to download HaikuOS R1 Beta 3. It's not even at 1.0 release yet, so could be buggy. And the next thing you're going to want to do is you are going to want to open up VirtualBox, and we're going to want to hit new. Now, you're probably thinking this is not really like an operating system that is, very retro-devy, but you'd be wrong. And also, it's just cool, so it wins out on that factor alone. And, I like, operating systems that are not, super popular and super common because they're very neat. And this one is binary compatible with the old BeOS stuff if you use the 32-bit version, which is the version we will be using. So we're going to go ahead and hit new here. And then we're just going to change our type to other and then set it to other unknown. And we're going to call this HaikuOS, and we'll hit next. And we're going to need to give it some memory. I'm going to give it 2 gigs. And we're going to create a hard disk and a virtual hard disk. And that's fine. We'll call it that. We'll name it, give it 4 gigs instead of 2. Now let it create. Perfect. Okay, so now what do we need to do? Well, we need to make like one change, really. We need to go into settings here with HaikuOS selected. We need to go to display, and we definitely want to just yoink that up there. And the other thing we want to do is go to networking, and under advanced, under adapter 1, we want to change the adapter type to the Intel Pro /1000 MT desktop. This is so we can have networking, which is recommended by the Haiku developers, which is why I switched to it. I'm not sure if the other one works or not anymore. The guide is a little old, but I know for a fact that this one works and there's nothing wrong with it. So anyway, we'll just double click it to launch it. And then we wait a second for HaikuOS to do its thing. And then you just want to, in the optical disk selector, you want to hit add, and then go to wherever you grabbed it. Now, again, this install video, we're going to be using the 32-bit version, but 32-bit, 64-bit doesn't matter. They're all the same. The only reason I'm using the 32-bit is because I might do some future videos, and it would be really nice to have a BeOS compatible system. And this is apparently BeOS compatible, so I'm just going to hit all this stuff. Yes, don't show in the future. Please stop it with the pop-ups. Okay. So we're going to install. You could try it out in like some kind of live mode, but we're not going to. We're going to hit install, and then I'm going to hit continue here. And no partitions have been found, so we're going to set up partitions, and we're going to select this one here, which is our virtual hard disk, and we're going to format it to a BE file system, and then we're going to hit continue, and we'll just leave everything default, write the changes, hit OK, and then up here. So this allows you to move it around. This closes, and this maximizes, which makes it look kind of weird in this particular situation. Anyhow, so we're going to install from here, and then we're going to install it onto the virtual hard disk here. Now, one thing that's really nice about HaikuOS is how fast it installs. Like, even in a virtual machine. Watch this. Okay, we're done. Boom. Like, legit, it is amazing. I'm not even kidding. It is the most awesome and most magical thing ever. And now, we're going to get back into BeOS here and just generating the SSH keys. Okay. So this is your system. And right here, you have some stuff. Trash is fairly self-explanatory. If you open up the user guide, it'll actually open up the browser, which is web positive. We'll click this to maximize it. And, it has a fair bit of how to use stuff, how to minimize, and so forth. And basically, when you minimize, you double click the little bar, and it actually goes over here. So it's right here. And then you can pull it back up. Quick tour, it's pretty nice. If you ever plan to actually seriously consider using it, I really recommend you just kind of sit down and read the guide. At least the quick tour and the user guide, just so you know what you're doing, because this operating system is very different. Like, if you've used Next Step or BeOS, you're probably fine, but if you haven't, you're probably going to run into issues. So the BE book is really neat because it explains the full API. Now, it does have a full-fledged UI for everything from input handling, audio, pretty much anything you can think of. It's quite neat. They really thought out a lot of stuff. And right now, the biggest problem that I would say HaikuOS has is that it doesn't have video drivers. So I think it uses Mesa on the back end to handle things like OpenGL and so forth, but it's entirely rendering on your CPU. So the faster of a multi-core CPU you have, the better off you're going to be for certain things. I think Intel is probably the fastest. Like Intel GPUs will probably come first. And then after that, probably AMD, and then maybe NVIDIA, or maybe not. I really don't know on that one. But anyhow, there's your guide, and it's C++ based, and it's like I said, it's relatively straightforward. And then we have some demos. So there's the typical teapot demo, and then there is the Haiku 3D demo, which is the Haiku logo in 3D that just kind of spins around. It's a neat little effect. And then you can right click and go to desktop system, and you can access like everything. The other thing you'll probably notice is there's no user accounts in this, so anyone can access your machine just by turning it on. So let's see here, but you do have to get local, but that is one thing to consider. You are always root and you are always admin. So let's go to screen and let's change it to, this one will work, and we'll just hit apply. Then we'll keep it. There we go. We got a little bit more screen real estate. We'll go back to preferences there. And backgrounds. So one thing that's really cool that I find just absolutely amazing about HaikuOS is that you can have a background color, and at the same time, you can see it. You know what? I'm going to minimize these. And then at the same time, you can have a transparent image as a background. Even better, you can switch to manual placement, and you can just left click, and you can just put this thing wherever you want. And just hit apply. Look at that. For some reason, that is just the coolest thing ever to me, and I have no idea why more operating systems don't do something like that, to where you can have a transparent logo, and then you can just plonk it anywhere on the screen. It is such a neat feature, and I really wish Linux had it, but it doesn't. Now the other really thing is it does include quite a lot of stuff like GL info and just all sorts of stuff, like camera application, a calculator, devices, a MIDI player. Yes, it comes with the MIDI player. That is like an instant +5. It comes with a TV player, but I don't know anyone that really has it. Web Positive is the browser. It's fairly it's functional. You have everything. You have a PDF reader, so you can read PDFs and stuff. On the whole, it comes with most things that the average person needs, even if it's not necessarily the fastest. It also doesn't have multi-monitor support, but I imagine that stuff will start coming. But it has something really neat called the Haiku Depot. And this is basically the package manager, and it includes a lot of applications, like a lot. And there's some featured applications, and then there's the all packages, which includes a bunch of other stuff. And we're gonna give it a second to synchronize and grab the icons and so forth and so forth. It's not on the fastest back end ever, so it can take a second. Okay, we're done. So right now we're in all categories, but we can go to audio. So it has quite a lot of it has Milky Tracker, and then there's some information about it. And then there's ratings, and people rated it and so forth. You can see when they did, and it's just it's really cool. I find this program to be really neat. And another thing too, if we go back to audio, for example, you can go to all packages. Clementine's on here, MIDI keyboard is on here. It is truly wonderful. Just how many packages and programs that this operating system actually has. If you go under productivity. And yep, there it is. LibreOffice. So they have LibreOffice. So if one of the biggest things you use is LibreOffice, you could use this thing full time. And eventually someday, I personally would like to use this operating system for something. Just because it would be really, really nice to, I'm not how I used to be, where I always wanted to run leading edge stuff. I just want something that's really stable and really productive. And I will say HaikuOS has not reached that level of stability yet, but I look forward to it. And I just like using weird, wacky operating systems anyway. And then under graphics, there's a bunch of stuff. There's Color Paint, which is the KDE Paint program. There's Wonder Brush and Colors and Font Boy and Photo Grabber, LibreCAD. There's probably a bunch of other stuff inside of here. Yeah, there's like Tux Paint. I just saw graphics. There's graphics in here. For those of you that don't know, that is like it was done by a scene group, and it's inspired by, well, as it says down here, Deluxe Paint Brilliance. But it was a really, really amazing and impressive pixel art program way back during the DOS days, and it kind of came out near the end of DOS. But if we open up Web Positive here, we can actually go to the GraphX website, and you can see like the version history and so forth, and yeah, it's really cool. GraphX is very, very cool. And even says like on the homepage, like it's the greatest thing ever. Is mostly developed on Haiku, Linux, and Windows. Yes, GraphX is made on Haiku. I just love that. For some reason, that's just really cool to me. There's a bunch of games on here. A lot of them are just like Linux ports, which makes sense. You know, like Zero AD is on here, like for real. Not even that. It's a newer version of Zero AD. It's not like the newest, I don't think. I can't remember. I think the newest is 0.24. Oh, no, 0.25. Wow. I'm actually scrolling down because I'm wondering if they actually put out... Ooh, 0.26 is in a feature freeze. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad I checked that. So it's a little out of date, but it's there. But like, here's, you know, for those of you who've never played Armageddon Tron Advanced, it's the Light Cycles game from the Tron film. Oh, it has Arx Libertalis. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Anyhow, so there's a ton of stuff on here, and you can, you know, use it. Like there's free RCT. It's on here. That actually literally just came out. Like free RCT is relatively new, and I am shocked to see that on here. So for those of you who don't know what this is, so there's OpenRCT, which is like a remake of, OpenRCT is like an open source engine that uses all of the assets from Roller Coaster Tycoon, and FreeRCT is basically kind of like, I'd say it's sort of like what they did with OpenTTD, where they made an engine and then they made like all custom artwork and audio and sound. That's kind of the idea of FreeRCT. It uses only free assets, and everything's been made from scratch. And it's not the greatest looking yet, but you know, it's getting there. It's got the general look down and so forth. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's getting there. It's got a long way to go, but it is getting there. But that's really cool seeing that thing in there already. I wonder what else is on here. Homeworld? Oh wow, that's pretty sweet. Now I'm just curious at this point. Yeah, there's OpenTTD. Not really surprised that that's on there. I might actually do a video for the RetroDev of me living and working on stuff for the RetroDev inside of an actual, you know, I'll install it bare metal, the 64-bit version. Having a 16 core, I'll have to put it on my workstation, because that having 16 cores and 32 threads go a long way on that. So yeah, anyhow, I'm going to end this video here. This is how to install it. And I mean, you know, as you can see, it is exactly what it says on the tin. It's HaikuOS, and it's very easy to install. It's very easy to use. It includes tons of documentation. And overall, I look forward to seeing the development. So if any of you HaikuOS developers happen to watch this video and watch it all the way through to this point, I just want to say you guys are amazing and keep at it. And I look forward to seeing the 1.0 release. At a minimum, I would like to see with Intel GPUs though, because I would totally build like a ZE Intel machine just for HaikuOS and probably exclusively use it for a lot of tasks. Actually, you know what? I want to go back before we end this. Let's go back to the depot. I want to see if they have OBS on here or any form of screen recording. Any form of screen recording. That didn't really Let me see if they have any. Oops. Okay, here we go. So the closest thing I found is this, which is BE capture. Let's open up the little image of it. It does look like it allows you to capture audio, so you'd have to do some tweaking there. This right here is a Doom 3 thing. That is really cool. Man, no, even Focusrite was ported. I imagine a lot of Qt applications were probably really easy to port, given that this thing does use Qt. Let's just see. Let's try again. Control A does not work. And that annoys me. Okay. So what do we have here? It does have FFmpeg though, so you could write an FFmpeg. You could write an FFmpeg like script or front end to handle audio recording and so forth. So it's doable. You could work around. It doesn't have OBS, but it would be possible to record the screen and capture audio and everything, which is the main thing I was looking for there when I was looking for that. That's really cool. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. I hope everyone has a lovely day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Or a lovely night, you know, if you happen to be gotta take back control there. Oh, wait, sorry, that was me doing that. Probably should have put it in that mode to begin with, but I didn't. Anyhow, see you guys.